Virtual Machine Blade. Azure Portal Blade that displays information about Azure VMs. Virtual machines must be redeployed if they are deployed using ARM to be moved. NIC and VM have to be in the same location. VM and VNET have to be in the same location. There are 3 AZs, and you can separate a VM across the zones for scale reliability. Its Service Management Connector that integrates Azure with IT service management tools. Azure Storage Account. Azure service that provides scalable and secure storage for data and media. Types include V2 and Premium. Cannot be moved to another region, need to be recreated. Lifecycle management are for block and append blobs in V2 accounts, Premium block blobs and blob storage accounts only. The rules are not in priority order. You can apply access policies to target lower than the account level. Shared access signature is supported for file storage, file shares. Azure AD and SaaS are supported for blob storage. General purpose V2 storage is used in most cases for logging. V2 also offers replication. V2 storage can have identity-based access for RBAC and file shares. AZ Copy. Command line utility for copying data to and from Azure storage accounts. Recursive option copies files recursively. Works for macOS, Linux, and Windows. Storage Explorer. Tool for managing Azure storage accounts and data. Azure Import-Export. Azure service for importing or exporting large amounts of data to and from Azure storage. Need to configure the dataset.csv and driveset.csv files when using this. This works for file and blob storage only. To use the service, you have to attach an external disk to a server. Run WAM import-export.x. Create an import job from the Azure portal. Detach the external disks from Server 1 and ship the disk to an Azure data center. From the portal, update the import job. Azure Blob. Azure storage service for unstructured data such as images, videos, and documents. Azure Files. Azure storage service that provides SMB file shares. Azure Table. Azure NoSQL key value store for structured data. Azure Queue Storage. Azure service for messaging between components of a cloud application. Temporary disk. Disk attached to an Azure VM for temporary storage. D drive. Letter assigned to the temporary disk in an Azure VM. Dev, SDB1. Linux device file that represents a storage device. In Azure, it can represent the temporary disk. Azure Web App. A platform as a service, PaaS, offering that enables the deployment and scaling of web applications. Windows ASP.NET apps require a separate instance from Linux and .NET. Create a resource group and then deploy the web app to it. From the Automation Blade, add it to the library. From the Template service, select the template and share it to web administrators to allow quick deployments. Swap slots. A feature of Azure Web App that allows you to swap the active and staged deployments, making it easier to perform rolling upgrades and rollbacks. Fault domains. Physical unit of a data center that can contain multiple virtual machines and network connections. The maximum is 3 fault domains per data center. Update domains. The logical unit for updating virtual machines, network connections, and storage accounts in Azure. There can be a maximum of 20 update domains. Management group. A hierarchical structure in Azure that provides a single point of administrative control for multiple Azure subscriptions. No one is given default access to the root management group. Azure AD global admins can elevate and then grant and manage access, resources. Tenant root group. The top-level container for the management groups in a tenant. SaaS. Shared access signature. A secure way to grant temporary access to resources in Azure storage accounts.